My name is Anthony Wang'ondu, District Director 2021-2022, and I've been a Toastmaster for just about 12 years. It's an interesting question about my profession because I started off life as an accountant. I'm a qualified accountant. Then I worked for about 20 odd years as a supply chain professional, looking after warehousing, distribution, procurement, that kind of thing. And now I am a sort of a corporate leader because I look after markets outside of Kenya for the company I work for. So a corporate person, a corporate man, if I can say so. I needed to stand in front of people, to speak, to deliver reports. And for me, that was a nightmare, a very big and difficult task for me. I am, believe it or not, quite an introverted person. And I needed a way to be able to be comfortable in front of an audience. I can tell you it has made a huge difference, not only in terms of being able to handle my nerves in front of an audience, but also being part of a team and becoming a leader, not only of a small group, but even as a leader where I work. About 4 years ago, I attended our annual Institute of Certified Public Accountants annual convention in Mombasa. It usually pulls around 5,000 delegates, and it's a huge event. It's a premier event for accountants. And I thought that the MCs were doing a terrible job. And I went up to the organizers and said, give me one session and I'll show you how to do this. And they gave me one session, and I think I did a good job with all the training we get as Toastmasters of the day. And the following year, they asked me to take on a session where they had invited some members of parliament. And it was my great privilege to be able to speak to, interview, and introduce Honorable Martha Karua, one of the members of parliament in Kenya who I really admire. There are two things that I would like to highlight from what I've picked up from Toastmasters, even though there are very, very many other things. The first one is feedback. At every Toastmaster meeting, when you give a speech, you get feedback from your evaluator. If you're taking on a role, the general evaluator also gives you feedback. And at work, the period that I used to dread the most is the month of June, when we would have staff appraisals. And you'd have to sit across the table with people you work with, members of your team, and tell them how terribly the year has been. And it was always so difficult because the party would feel aggrieved. They would want to know whether that means they're going to lose their job or they will not get a pay rise. And I found it particularly uncomfortable. But learning how to give feedback, what we famously call the sandwich method, has changed for me my June every year. And I have seen that impact their lives, their careers as well. And for me, that has been one of the biggest transformations in my professional life through Toastmasters. On a personal front, I think active listening is one of the areas that I've been working on. I continue to develop. So when I sit with my girls, for example, and I want to listen until they finish what they have to say before I jump in to try and formulate an answer, to listen to nuances and cues in what they are saying. And that has been fantastic. In our education system, we do not learn how to communicate effectively, how to pass on a message to others in an interesting and imaginative way. When you join Toastmasters, you learn different ways of communicating without changing your authentic self. And when you're authentic, when you remain who you are, your message gets across because you're not blocking it with trying to be somebody else. The second thing that we pick up when we join Toastmasters is how to lead within a small group and how to impact a larger group. I would love to see everyone who can make it in our country, in our region, take on the Toastmaster program, because even the smallest skills that you pick up as a speaker and as a leader will have a huge impact in your life.